Okay, this is Andrew from McDonald English. Welcome to the second lesson in the conditional series. Today we're going to look at the first conditional. So the first conditional, it's used to talk about things which might happen in the future. Of course, we can't know what will happen in the future, but this describes possible things which could easily come true. So we're talking about possibility and probability. First conditionals. The tense that we're going to use, the if clause is in the present tense, the main clause is in the future tense. If I feel sick tomorrow, I will not go to school. If it rains, the match will be cancelled. So here we can see the present tense and the future tense forming the first conditional. And as with the zero conditional, we can reverse the order. I will not go to school tomorrow if I feel sick. Okay, it's not as easy as just the present tense and the future. We can also use modal verbs with the first conditional. This really gives us the element of probability or possibility. If I go to the cinema, I must eat popcorn. So I use a present tense and a modal verb, must. And remember, as always, with modal verbs, it's never followed by to. I must eat popcorn. Never, I must to eat popcorn. It's not correct. So the use of the first conditional is to speak about possible or probable future events. If the weather is sunny tomorrow, as it was today, we will go surfing. Okay, so there's the example with will in the future. But we can also use the modals will, must, can, may, might, can't, should, and have to. And we'll come to those in a moment. Also in the first conditional, we can use it to make promises or warnings, such as, if you forget my birthday, I will never speak to you again. Is that a promise or is it a warning? You decide. We can also use it to give commands, again with the imperative. If you are tired, go to bed. Modal verbs in the first conditional. The example we saw was, if I go to the cinema, I must eat popcorn. That's 100%. I must eat popcorn. I'm a popcornaholic. But to talk about probability or possibility, we can use other modals. If I go to the cinema, I may or I might eat popcorn. If I go to the cinema, I can eat popcorn. They sell it. I have some money. It's an option. If I go to the cinema, I can't eat popcorn. Either they don't sell it, I don't like it, or I don't have any money. But as we can see, the level of probability of possibility is going down from must to can't. So we're talking varying possibility, varying probability. We can also use should to give advice. If you go to the cinema, you should eat popcorn. It's fantastic. The first conditional is used to describe a particular situation, whereas the zero conditional describes what happens in general. It's one of the key differences. Now some examples. If we take John, he'll be really pleased. If you give me some money, I'll pay you back tomorrow. If they tell us they want it, we'll have to give it to them. If Mary comes, she'll want to drive. So that's all with will. The if clause can be used with different present forms. If I go to New York again, I'll buy you a souvenir from the Empire State Building. If he's feeling better, he'll come. If she hasn't heard the bad news yet, I'll tell her. So you've got some different present forms there as well. The future can also contain going to, or the future perfect, as well as will. If I see him, I'm going to tell him exactly how angry I am. If we don't get the contract, we'll have wasted a lot of time and money. And the future clause can also contain other modal verbs such as can and must, which we've already looked at. If you go to New York, you must have the cheesecake in Lindy's. If he comes, you can get a lift home with him. So you have some different options there. I suggest you pause the recording now and look at some of these options and note them down. Okay, an exercise. First conditionals. Put these into the first conditional, please. Okay, so the answer, if you do not come, or if you don't come, you'll miss the show. Number 2. John will buy a car if he gets a job. We could also say John must buy a car if he gets a job. Or John can buy a car if he gets a job. Or John might buy a car if he gets a job. Or even John should buy a car if he gets a job. Because we're talking probability and possibility. And the answer, Mary will get a toothache if she eats too many sweets. I'm going to give you what I'd normally do as a speaking task. I'd like you to think of some ideas here. For example, if I say to you, you were going to travel to India, you could say, if I go to India, I'll visit Bollywood. Or if I go to India, I might visit Bollywood. If I go to Spain, I'll go walking in the Pyrenees. So I'd like you to think of some countries and think of a conditional structure of what you could do in these countries. While you do that, it's best to pause the video while I explain the superstitions. Okay, the superstitions. We have some ideas here. To write down some superstitions, such as, if you break a mirror, you'll have 7 years bad luck. Okay, we've got some more. We have black cat, ladder, birthday cake candles, itchy ear, itchy hand, salt, sneezing, spiders, the number 13, and the weather. Write down some superstitions using the first conditional. And thank you very much for listening from McDonald English in Cadlet. Bye.